Well, hey folks, welcome to the 12th session of the Platform Academy session. My name is Kieran McMorrow. I am an outbound product manager here at ServiceNow. And with me, I have the ever talented Lisa Hohenstein. If you want to introduce yourself.
Well, thank you. Yes, hi, my name is Lisa. I'm a senior outbound product manager for Creator Workflows and Automation Engine. And we're joined by lovely people today. I'm super excited to have guest speakers today. So this will be Amanda Joslin and also Ashley Snyder, who just recently joined us at ServiceNow. Welcome, Ashley.
Woo! Thank you.
And in the background, we have Daniel and Adam. As usual, there are lurkers and helpful ghosts. If you have any, I'll just pass on introductions to Ashley now.
Hey everyone, so I'm Ashley Snyder. I am a staff outbound product manager here at ServiceNow on Amanda's team, doing platform UX. So all the really fun and shiny stuff. I look forward to working with you guys.
Amanda.
Hi everyone, I am Amanda Joslin. I am the Director of Outbound Product Management for our platform business unit, focused on our next experience, which covers everything from our platform for our replatforming of our user experience. So UI builder, all of our builders, as well as basically our replatforming. So workspaces and all of the good stuff that's coming with that we're going to go through today.
Awesome.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Right. We need, I don't know, do we need more introductions from Daniel or Adam, or does everybody know them already?
Yeah, I think they're probably good. Looks like they might be on mute.
All right.
Yes, Danielle.
All right. Should we get started?
Awesome.
Yeah, sure.
That sounds
Go ahead. Great. So first and foremost, thank you everyone for showing up. This is a great showing for this session. I'm glad you're all here and ready to talk about this topic. I'm very excited to present this to you. We're also going to put Ashley kind of on the hot seat for her new role. So she's going to give you a live demo at the end of this. So be nice, but definitely we want this to be interactive. This is for you and for your information, but also for you to use us as, I think Lisa called us all helpful ghosts, although probably not me, but I think I saw Eric Sternhelt, Adam Stout. I just saw Mark Tognetti join. So this is a great audience of quote unquote helpful ghosts to help answer any questions you have, or to really give you the information that you have as you may have from the platform and Creator Workflows teams for our products. So feel free to put questions in the chat. We're here to answer them, but also come off mute and interact with us live. We would love to address that as well. First and foremost, I am a product manager. I think I've heard our VP say it before. I cannot confirm nor deny the presence of nuclear weapons on this vessel. I probably will say something that's forward-looking. I probably will give or show information that is coming in a future release. Please make all buying decision on current GA. Please know we are bringing this to you as valued, people of and lovers and of our platform, but don't share, don't screenshot. This is for your information as joining of this academy, and make all buying decisions on current GA. So with that, I'm going to go through today what we are externally calling our next experience. This is an experience that's actually been a few years in the making, and I'll go through our journey of this. But this encompasses what we call Agent Workspace, our web experience builder, and then our future generation of portal. And we'll touch on each of those in its own way. And again, feel free to come off mute if you can. I think you can as a webinar. Lisa, they can come off mute, right? Or no?
No, they can't. They can, but they can raise their hand or put a message in chat, and then I can promote them and give them speaking permission. Yeah, we can do that.
Feel free to do that. I would love the interaction. So don't think you're going to shake me or unnerve me. Feel free to do that. So we have been on a multi-year journey to re-platform our user experience. This actually started back in New York with our general availability of our agent workspace. This was our first instantiation of carving out a piece of the platform for our fulfillers to do their job quickly and easily. With that, we were reacting to our customers' feedback that they wanted a place in the platform for fulfillers to be able to do their job. So we built that for them. That, as I mentioned, launched in Madrid with limited availability and New York with general availability. But what it didn't have was it wasn't able to take advantage of what customers loved about the platform, which was the ability to personalize it. And that was a lot of the feedback we got. So in Orlando, we launched our first generation of our UI builder, which gave customers the ability to add components to the landing page. And it was our really ability to see what customers wanted to do with this workspace plus this builder mentality. But it wasn't fully interactive. What you built was really just static components on a static page that didn't really interact with the rest of the platform. And that was the feedback we got from customers. While good, it just really doesn't get us there or enough. So, so from there, we started working on really going from the ground up. So what could we do to really rethink this platform? We knew configurability was of the importance to this. So from Orlando to Quebec, we really focused on the replatforming with configurability first. And in Quebec, we launched our next generation of our UI builder, as well as from the platform, our configurable workspace. And the first two business units that launched their configurable workspaces in Quebec were CSM with their configurable agent workspace, as well as custom workspaces output from AES or App Engine Studio through our creator workflows business unit. And we weren't stopping there. So from there, we were really looking to scale and extend to many more business units. So in Rome, we had one more business unit, Risk, launched their configurable workspace, and we made improvements to our UI builder. But now, as we are on the precipice of San Diego, we're really looking to unify and elevate that user experience from here on out. So where we are in San Diego is a really big launching point for this, this replatforming, but we're not stopping here. As I mentioned, this has been a journey that started back before New York and will continue on. So we're going to include more data-rich personalization from here, as well as expand our builder network. Our mission is to create product experiences that people love. We believe people should love their work smarter, faster, and be more empowered through a singular platform that really makes work flow. Even though our persona from the platform is that fulfiller, we know we want them to reduce after call work, to be more productive on the platform, to be able to shut off when their shift is over and not have to worry about anything else, so that they can get on with their lives. With that, we are introducing what we call the next experience. So you can forget about all the other maybe internal nomenclature you've heard. Next experience is what we are launching for San Diego, which will replace terms that you may have heard like seismic or tectonic or Polaris. These are all being replaced with next experience.
I think that's a change that we're all looking forward to, getting some clarity. But I'm really excited for the next experience.
It's also so much better than before experience.
That is true. That is true. And I think Lisa might have just put a very big key point in there as well. It is also replacing now experience. So we are moving forward with the next experience. This will replace a lot of that other nomenclature that you may have heard out there for our San Diego release. There are 3 pillars to the next experience. The first is our UI framework. This is our framework which enables theming, app configuration, and development, all within our UI builder. The second, which is releasing in San Diego, is our modern visual design, which improves the look and feel and the usability of all of our web applications. And the third is our simple and unified platform UI, which brings together all of our apps into one experience or shell. That's also launching in San Diego. Chuck, I just saw yours. If this is the next experience, what comes after it? The next experience? I don't know, maybe. I doubt we're gonna go with the next experience, but maybe we'll come with the future experience. So all of this is built on our next experience X. Yes, that could be. Or maybe we'll go with like the experience that formerly was called next, and we'll just have a symbol. So all of this is based on our workspace. So this is our workspace user experience, which is a configurable service desk application that provides agents with that modern and intuitive user experience. So we haven't moved away from that. We're still having that single place where we want fulfillers to be able to do their jobs. It is built on that web standard of components. So many great features that we want our agents to be able to take use of when they move to this workspace. Multiple tabs, interaction management, agent assist, and of course, built on components. I mentioned the first pillar, the web experience platform. Many of you have seen this or been starting to work with this, but again, built on this modern tech stack, our JavaScript UI framework, which removes any external dependency on any third-party APIs, i.e. Angular. We don't want to be beholden to any other company. We want to be owning everything ourselves. So our JavaScript framework built on web standards, which enables us to build on with web components. We are building out our component library ourselves. So we have, as of Rome, I think 120 components that we have, and even more as our BUs start building out their components and experiences as well. Many of those are in the component library, and many of those can be built and used and extended for your experiences. But we also have the ServiceNow command line interface, or CLI, which enables customers, partners, and developers to ensure many of you have built your own components as well, which you can then bring into the UI builder as well. All of these components are, of course, configurable. So taking use of any of those components to be able to extend or to configure, to pipe your data, to be able to use them differently or to change to make use with your experiences. And of course, UI Builder. I'm kind of going quickly through these screens because Ashley, even though it's her third week here on my team, she's going to give you a live demo of some of this to walk you through each of the pieces of UI Builder and then show you where to find these components as well. But within UI Builder, we're not just talking about building pages, which is actually what UI Builder in San Diego and in Rome is built for. This is where you build your pages. You can start from licensed applications like CSM or your custom workspaces that you built out of AES. And in San Diego, you'll have more licensed applications to start from. You'll have the ITSM ITOM workspace, which is called Service Operations Workspace. You'll have the HR workspace as well. But you'll also interim head risk. But you can also just start building pages from scratch. So if you want to start from scratch and start wiring up pages, you can do those for your experience as well. And this is where you truly get into creating and configuring and really taking use of what the power of this builder has. In Rome, we also launched delegated development. As we start federating development outside of IT to other areas of the business, we know that makes platform owners nervous. So we wanted a way to be able to restrict or to empower different groups to be able to do only what they were meant to do. So if this group should only be building pages in UI Builder, but this group should only be building mobile applications, you can empower those groups or restrict those groups to only what they should be doing now in Rome, which we find gives a lot more freedom to the platform owners to be able to confidently give power of the platform over to others. So the big exciting launch of San Diego in the next experience is really around our modern look and feel. This is reacting to a lot of the feedback from many customers that, you know, your platform is great. It does a lot of things, but it looks really dated. So in San Diego, we are giving a visual refresh to our look and feel of our platform. This next experience will be on by default for all of our new customers. And customers who upgrade from a previous version to San Diego will have the choice to turn it on or not. It will have improved data density for our workspace users, but it will also have an improved look and feel for our list and forms users. And so this will be a very big visual refresh. It will have more jewel tone, more modern UI, and a lot more just font and styling. A lot of the components are getting a big refresh as well. So a major modern aesthetic uplift to our design as well.
One thing that I've really appreciated about it so far is that it is very refreshed. It feels modern, but the classic functionality is there. Lists look and feel very similar, and you know, that classic functionality from the native UI is still there and accessible. Just like you said, increased data density, and it feels a lot better to me.
And something that's also very cool for developers is that stuff like the SN utils, they also work because it's the same platform.
Exactly. So now we are going to start a poll question. How familiar are you with UIB? And I kind of put some cheeky answers in here. So the next experience in UIB. So the first one, I've started to play around with it and with workspaces, but have not released anything to production. My company is starting to plan for workspaces, so I'm starting to learn about them. I'm hearing more and more about it, so I'm starting to learn all I can, or I'm going to start to learn after this exciting session.
It is exciting.
Well, I ad-libbed that part.
Yeah.
So go ahead and vote. Hopefully
answers
you can all
coming
see
in.
this.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes. Answers are coming in. We're at 80%. So as soon as we have almost all of them, we'll share the results and then look at what's going on. All right. 4 more people. All right. Let's end this and share the results. You should be seeing this too.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So 50% of you have actually started to play around with it, but have not released anything into production. I guess I didn't really have an answer in there if you have released anything to production. That if you have, raise your hand. I'd love to hear from you as well. Good. Okay, good. So that's encouraging. Oh, good. Some of you have actually released something to production on it. I would love to hear from you.
Awesome.
Yay. Awesome. Okay, well, good. Thank you so much. I'd love to hear your feedback for those of you that have not released anything to production, but started building in UIB. Put in the chat when Ashley starts demoing, I can start going through the chat a bit more, and I would love to hear any of your feedback that you have. So as we go through migration planning, I did want to provide some feedback of how we recommend thinking about this. I know some of you are starting to play around with UIB and starting to play around with workspaces, but what guidance do we have from ServiceNow of how we should be thinking about you as you move through that next evolution and start adopting this? Because San Diego is really that tipping point for adoption. So in San Diego and actually in Tokyo as well, our focus is really on the agent or filler, as well as the back office worker, managers, process and service owners. We are not focused on the requester or the portal user, and we're really not focused on the admin or developer. That will come probably in Tokyo and beyond. So as we start really doubling down on that agent, fulfiller, and back office worker and really focused on their experience, what's that migration plan look like, or what should you be thinking about? We want to start looking at that platform migration adoption guidance as thinking about workspaces and moving your agents to workspaces when all of the licensed products you have an available workspace. So for instance, if you own IT and HR, then you should really start your migration planning with your San Diego migration. So as you migrate to San Diego, oh, Daniel, hint, you might be spotting here when, oh, yes. Yeah, oh, I think I already said it. ITSM is launching their configurable workspace not with San Diego GA, but they'll go with a store release in March. So it won't be with the San Diego major family release, but they will go as a store release shortly thereafter. So yes, ITSM will have their service operations workspace, which is going to be their configurable workspace as part of the San Diego release. So as part of your San Diego planning, that's why San Diego is such a big milestone for us. If you have ITSM plus CSM, San Diego should really be when you're looking at migrating your frontline agents to workspace and really start taking advantage of those configurable workspaces in UI Builder. And then you can grow from there. That's when you start organically thinking about, okay, where else should I be using this? Who else really needs this? What are the reports and data that should come from this? So it kind of starts taking on legs of its own from there. So, oh, yes, thank you. Somebody just caught my now experience versus next experience on the title of the slide. It's new for me as well. So I will change that. And then from there, especially though, if you have a lot of customization in your platform already, or if you adopted V1 of Agent Workspace, which those will be sunset once everyone has a configurable workspace, your migration might take a little bit longer, or you'll have to think through that as you'll have to migrate. If you did any, luckily there was no configuration you could do really on the old Agent Workspace. So you'll really need to just port those over, but it will maybe take some testing. So you'll really look at that through San Diego as you migrate, and then maybe you'll go in Tokyo or beyond. So now's the time. That's why I really wanted to get in front of this Academy group to say, as developers, really, this is the time you should be looking at that migration. I know you also might be thinking, well, goodness, what about portals? We are starting to look at portals. We did start in Quebec. However, we're really not going to turn our attention to portal until well after Utah. So our portal experience, or our requester experience, will stay in our Angular technology for at least 3 years plus. That's because we are going to support it, but we're not only going to support it, we're going to continue to invest in it. We are also going to look for ways to blend the two technologies, so I'll talk about that as well. However, one of the ways we're blending it is in App Engine Studio. They released a part of their app, which was portal experience, on the next experience. So in App Engine Studio, you can build your app, and part of that app can be a starter portal experience. This is not a replacement for Enterprise Portal, but it is an experience you can build into your app. So as I mentioned as well, we're going to still have ongoing investments in Service Portal. For instance, our consumer grade search experience, or AI search, that was built as a next experience, or now experience component that we wrapped in Angular and exposed in that new technology. We're actually looking for ways to expose that to our developers, hopefully in our Utah timeframe, going one way or the other. So there's now an architectural investigation on, should we go with Angular widgets, wrap them in our next experience and expose them as a web component, or take our web components, wrap them in Angular and expose them in Portal. So we will expose that to our end users, but we are not looking, but that's one of the ways we're going to blend it. We're not looking for a lift and shift at this time.
I think that's a great relief for a lot of people in the infrastructure
Yes.
who spent a long time developing in Portal, but it's really exciting to see that both the technologies are going to be able to coexist and be mutually beneficial.
Yeah, and Daniel,
We also just released the employee, what's it called? Employee
Employee
Center.
Center.
Employee
Yep.
service.
Employee Center as a big effort, and that is using service portal technology, but I think it's also using a couple of Next Experience components wrapped in that. So it's not just Angular components in there too.
Great. Yep, and that has applied the theming, so it looks a lot like the Next Experience. It's not re-platformed, but it does take that look and feel. So it has that similar look and feel. And Daniel asked a question, just to double down on this, we are recommending to customers to not use UIB or Next Experience to build external portals. You can build portal pages, but I'll get to it in a minute. They're not going to be one for one. So you cannot use UIB to build an enterprise portal, but you can use it to build a department or a requester, or you'll see in a second, very light pages, portal pages. So in App Engine Studio, I'll go through this really quick. When you build your app, and these are slightly outdated screenshots, you choose your starter experience. You then choose what type of experience you're going to add to your app, and you name it and add your data. And then when you go into, you're then dropped into UI Builder to really extend your application and to configure it. And for portal pages, it's the same UI Builder that you use to create your pages for a workspace. As I mentioned, it doesn't have the same features, even through San Diego, as you would in Portal. So you can search, but you cannot browse. So you cannot chat, but you can sign in. You can do some catalog request items. You can view your cases. So there's just some limitations of things you can and cannot do. So with that being said, those are what our recommendations are as far as migration, as well as portals pages as well. With that, I mentioned in UIB, and I'll go quickly because I do want to leave time for Ashley to give her demo. I wanted to just touch on how were we updating UIB in Rome? What were the changes we made to it from Quebec? And I think someone just raised their hand. Sorry, was there a hand up? Yes. No? Yes. No? Keeps going away. If there is a question, feel free to raise your hand, and then I think Lisa can do something to make you able to answer your question or ask your question.
But I don't see the person anymore.
I know
it keeps
hand. There was a hand that goes away. Hand that goes away. Okay, so I wanted to just run through quickly some of the changes we made to UI Builder in Rome to make it more flexible. So differences between I mentioned Orlando UI Builder and our UI Builder of today. So in Orlando, our V1 of UI Builder really introduced that, what you see is what you get way of building out a page or adding components to the page. At the time, we only had 6 components that you could add to your landing page only. You couldn't put it on the record page. And once you did, those components were static. They could not communicate to each other. They were just there. And you couldn't create a full page. You could only do that on the landing page. And as well, you only had your static agent workspace to work with. You didn't have a full configurable workspace. So now we have this fully configurable workspace. And this was, of course, launched in Quebec, but now in Rome and San Diego, this is even being upgraded even more. These are outdated screenshots as well. So from our foundational release of Orlando to today, so now you can build or edit any workspace or portal page. You're no longer limited to that same 12 legacy column layout. You now have Flexbox and CSS Grid. And we have many more components which can talk to each other and react to each other on the page. And we now have data binding and data resources, which means we can reuse these components. We also have theming and component styling, which you can now theme all the way from the global all the way down to the component level. I talked a bit about this for Quebec and San Diego. It stays the same. We are expecting that, that this is a developer persona who's going to use UI Builder. It still is configurability first. And so we do expect that you can and you will have to write code to be able to use it. So some of the Roam enhancements, we added in the viewport component. So think of a viewport as a container. So the viewport allows you to add one or more viewports or containers on the page that you can then add components into to dynamically display data. So it just adds more flexibility of where you're going to add data, and you can do this with or without tabs. So it just extends the view of where you're going to have your data on the page. Probably the biggest change in UI Builder in Roam, which was of most excitement to a lot of the developers I've spoken to at companies, was we added in the seismic condition builder into UI Builder. So this replaces the need to hard code conditions to make them dynamic. So this was a big change in UI Builder, and probably one that was most exciting and met with the most excitement in Roam.
I love this. This is so much better.
that was a big change.
Especially for data resources, if you want to create something, create records or update records, it's so much easier with this condition builder than before.
Yes, that was a big one. Oh, good. Thank you, Paige. Oh, hi, Paige. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Thank you for the applause as well. And I mentioned before about delegated development. This is a big request I mentioned before as we extend federated development outside of IT as well. There's a lot of tab component enhancements. We really optimized and simplified the way you have to interact with tabs in UI Builder. So where users don't need that complexity of viewports, you can now interact with tabs individually. And then on UI Builder or on Workspace itself, we moved the ribbon to the right so that it's not taking up so much real estate on that screen. And then big enhancements in theme. I mentioned before, you can do global CSS all the way from the top all the way down to the component level. So really providing, and as well as a theme preview page, so you can preview this before you apply it all the way to the whole page. And then some support as well for the CSS editor in UI Builder. So with that, I think this is my last slide on UI Builder. Oh no, I'm going to, enablement. We'll go to that after the demo actually, because I want to end with that poll question. So actually, and at this point, yes, I want to end with that poll question. So at this point, I will turn it over to Ashley. Are you ready, Ashley?
I'm ready.
And awesome. I'll go through the chat and look at any of the questions there. But if you do have a question, feel free to put in the chat because I'll go through those while she's demoing.
Or the Q&A panel.
Yeah, that's what I meant, the Q&A panel. Thank you.
All right. What do we got? Like 10 minutes? I want to make sure we have enough time for questions.
Yeah, we'll call
we
10
will.
minutes.
Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, you guys just let me know. Can everyone see my screen? Can they see UI Builder up right now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So right here in my demo instance, I'm in kind of like the UI Builder splash page. Basically, it just holds a list of all the experiences that are available to me or I've created. We also have some different like help articles here too. So if you're not really sure where to get started, if you just scroll down, this will take you to like different product documentation on the different parts of UI Builder. So it's a really good place to just start learning it. We also have training on the developer site and Now Learning as well that are really great for learning as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump into a workspace that I created from App Engine Studio. Let this load for just a second. So when I created this from App Engine Studio, one thing I do want to mention is that it did preload with a lot of pages that are really useful within a workspace. It did give me like a default landing page. So you do get a lot of things when you launch a workspace or a platform from App Engine Studio versus not. So if you're learning or you're in a PDI, I definitely suggest launching one from there and kind of checking out and walking through UI Builder in one of those. But I'll just give you guys kind of like a lay of the land, and then we'll drop some components on a page. So what I'll do is go ahead and create a new page.
Do you want to switch your scope? You're in a different scope.
Let's see. Yeah, let me go ahead and switch my scope, guys. Sorry. Thank you, Lisa. I was in my playground earlier testing some things out, so. Cool. And like you pointed out, Lisa, and what you guys can see is I can actually switch my scope right from here, which is great. I don't have to go back into the platform UI to do it. So now I'm in the scope that I need to be in, and I'll go ahead and create that page. And I'm just going to name it Academy Landing. I'm not going to go too deep into the different pages and templates. Just know that I'm creating a blank one, but we do have some predefined templates out there as well. And for now, I'm not going to require any data for the page or set any ACLs, but I did want to mention that we do have options to do that. So now I have a blank page. Let me go ahead and kind of walk you guys through the layout UI builder. So right here, I'm on my pages icon, and what that's showing me is the page and variant that I'm working with. I have the ability to set some different options from here. I have my page kind of tree, my page panel, whereas, you know, if I start adding components and adding containers, it's going to lay out my page in that nice kind of like tree view, which is really helpful if you have a lot of complexity on your page or a lot of different levels. You can just easily click on something and get to it from there. You can also add components from here as well, aside from dragging and dropping. The next thing is our components. Let's call this like our components toolkit or components box right here. You can click on it from here if you'd like, and kind of scroll through. And like Amanda mentioned, we have over 100 components available here in Rome. And you can kind of see, get an idea of everything that we have right here. Going down, I won't talk about these too much, but just to quickly mention, if I click on the kind of like the database icon, this is where I'll configure my data resources. So how I, retrieve data and link those into components. The next thing is client state parameters. So different variables that I can use on the page with my components, and also page scripts. So how I can take data that I'm getting in and perhaps manipulate it, like combine data or do certain things to data before I send it to my components. The next thing is the header up here. So I can actually set like experience settings. So like what I want to show on my sidebar, what theme I want to use, things like that here. I do have help, the URL for my experience, and I can also open my experience from here too. And I'll show you guys that in a second. The next piece right here is our stage. So basically your page where you're going to be dragging and dropping components into, where you're going to be doing a lot of your work as far as playing around with your components and getting your page layout set up. Let me go ahead and add a component, and then I'll talk about the configuration panel over here. So I'm going to go ahead and just click here, and let's add, let's do a tab component. I know that Amanda mentioned that, and I really do like how the tabs were decoupled from the viewport. It makes it really easy to kind of show different content on your page. And I'm going to go ahead and just set up a few tabs. We'll do one for like cases, and then let's do one for like orders. I'm kind of coming from like a CSM viewpoint here. Maybe I want to see cases and orders and stuff related to that. And I'm going to set cases as my default tab. And I'll go ahead and click here. So I'm in my configuration panel. I forgot to mention that, but I'm in the configuration panel. So every component is going to have its own different kind of configuration that can be done to it. So as you click on different components, you'll see different ways of setting it up and different values that you can put in, as well as how you can control the CSS and the styling for it, and whatever events are related to that specific component, you'll set it up here. So for this one, I'll just add like a quick data visualization. I could honestly spend like all day on doing this with you guys. We could make a really awesome page, but I'll just add a quick data source for my case table. There we go. And the really cool thing here too is I can actually use, if I have like performance analytics indicators, I can select them from here, or I could set up custom conditions on top of that as well. Or if I don't have any indicators, I can just use the custom conditions. But I'll go ahead and use that PA indicator for now. And let's just name this like open cases. Cool. So as you can see, it's kind of hard for me to click on this other tab. So let me just go up, and like I said, in this page content area, it's really easy for me to click on the component itself and highlight it. And I can click on my orders tab now. And let's just do like,
I think that's so neat that you can actually click on the tab in the stage to get there. It's interactive immediately. That's awesome.
I love that. I think I use that actually more than kind of clicking around in the stage itself. It's just so super helpful. And let's do.
I tend to love that a lot of the features that were spread across a number of different pages within the service portal are kind of aggregated here in the UI builder. So you don't have to hop between these different experiences. They're all kind of encapsulated here within the UI builder, and you can see the data live. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, I love that too. You don't have to load it up and like see what it looks like. It's just there for you. Let me see if I can get it to hit my order table.
Did we just lose Ashley?
Either that or she's
On
very,
this
very
to
slow.
load, because it's trying to like load all the tabs.
There she is. I think we
Can you
lost
guys
you for
hear
a
me?
second,
Okay.
but we saw you pick the order table.
Okay, cool. I didn't say much. I was just setting up the orders here. So it's raining here, so I apologize. I'm kind of going in and out. So I'll go ahead and open up what this looks like so you guys can see these tabs. So I just opened up my workspace experience here. Right now I'm on my cases tab and I can see my data visualization. Right now, if I click it, it doesn't do anything, but I could hook up an event for it to load a list or go to a different page or something like that. If I click on orders, then I can go to my list. Again, I could set up events to open up different like records or whatever I need to do. If I click on an order, that's a possibility. And that's all done with the events for the components. I don't want to get too far. I want to make sure we have enough, room for questions here. Lisa and Kieran, do you think that we should move to Q&A, or do you want me to drop a few more components on here?
I think that was great. I think that was awesome.
Okay.
We have about 15 minutes left, so that's a good place to.
And I want to
check out the
open my
questions.
poll question to make sure
Yes.
everyone gets to enablement too.
Yes.
Okay.
You want me to throw that up already?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So the next question is about enablement, and I'm going to put a link in the chat as well, and hopefully we can follow up with the link as well. But where do you go for enablement to learn new parts of the community or new parts of the platform? So do you search the community? And actually, I'm going to put this up as well. And with this is talking about the Center of Excellence. So with the launch of UIB, my team and I put together this site, which is called the Center of Excellence. And before you answer, maybe I'll go through this really quick because I forgot I put in, it was after this. But this was a site that we put together so that we could you could familiarize yourself with all the pieces that we just spoke about. So workspace, UI builder components, and then the requester portal part. So it starts with now learning. There's also some getting started. There's an FAQ of what resources are coming. But for workspace, there's links to the developer site. There's links to our knowledge and CreatorCon sessions, one of which our great Lisa Hollenstein did last year, and we'll update them to our this year. Playbooks, there's also links to product docs. In UI Builder, there's some great communication or community articles and blogs. There's also some great videos. We have some really quick snippet videos of how-tos in the workspace settings and the app shells. And then there's some components and how to build your first component. So this poll question is really about this site, and I'm going to put the link in the chat as well. So this poll question is about this. So where would you go for enablement to learn about what we just spoke about today? Would you search the community? And if so, have you seen this? If you have searched the community, have you seen this? And would you start here, or did you start here? And if you haven't seen this, or you don't start in either of those places, either put your answer in Q&A or raise your hands. We can promote you and come off mute to share. Okay, I'm going to put this in chat and share with everyone.
I think it's really great that we have all this enablement content kind of all collected underneath the COE. I know, in my development journey inside ServiceNow, it would just be a ton of, Google bookmarks, and it's nice to have them aggregated here and kind of have a definitive resource from ServiceNow for some of this content to link out.
Right, we have, while people are answering the poll question, we have, I think, one more question that was in Q&A that we haven't fully answered yet. That was by Glenn earlier, and I think it fit with the demo maybe. They wanted to know the hierarchy of what determines a user's landing page in the next experience. So will there be rule-based variants, user-based, group, maybe stuff like that? Can you answer that?
So what bases a landing page? It's based on your role. It's role based.
All right. And then there was another question in the chat. What is meant by enablement? Just adding new modules. It's actually enablement about UI builder. Like, how do you get started with next experience? And
it's all the learning. So training, help, anywhere you'd go to learn or to get help. So if you were like, how do I do something? Where would you go to learn that or to understand it?
More questions.
Community is never my first start. I know, since it isn't linked anywhere prominent, it isn't a place to start off going. Okay, it's helpful.
I don't know about Eric, else, but I'm exceedingly excited about the next experience on the Now platform, and playing with it and seeing all the things that the community is going to build with it.
Me too. I've published the results of the poll, and it looks like many people do go to the community, but they haven't seen the Center of Excellence yet. But 3 people are starting with it. That's really good.
Great. And Suzanne, if you go into the chat, the link is right there. So the second to the last chat is right there. Click on that link before the webinar ends.
We'll also distribute it. So the link will be, don't worry, we'll put the link in the community event that you registered, that you went to register for this webinar. And we'll also post a copy of the slide deck as PDF and attach that to that. So you'll have all the resources available to you.
Perfect. That's it for us.
Yeah. That's awesome. We have one more poll that we want to start just to get your general feedback on this session. And while we do that, we'll do a little bit of a wrap up. So the Academy has just picked up again. This is our first session of this year. Thank you so much, Amanda and Ashley, for this awesome presentation. As always, we'll take the presentation and edit it and upload it to YouTube later. Probably start of next week again. We'll post the link on community again, So make sure to follow the threads to get all the info. We'll also put up the next few sessions in the next week or so. We're currently talking to possible speakers and guest speakers and mapping out the topics. We've chatted about this next experience thing, and since we're still in the early access period of San Diego and not quite in GA yet, we couldn't show you too much of San Diego in the next experience this time. But I've asked Amanda and Ashley whether they're happy to, or whether they would like to join us again, and they luckily said yes. So I can definitely tell you that we'll have another session on this with all of the new goodies, everything that comes in San Diego. And we'll have that by probably end of March or beginning of April. So keep your eyes open and subscribe to the community post so that you will be notified about that. One note about the next session, which will be in 2 weeks, we'll have a change of schedule out of turn because this time we'll have a presenter, one of our colleagues joining us from Australia. And obviously we don't want to have him present at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. We'll move this session to a couple of hours later. So for the US folks, it will be in the afternoon. For Australia, it will be in the early morning. And for us Europeans, we'll have to stay up later. But it'll be definitely worth it because the next session will be about Mobile App Builder, which is the new low-code interface to create custom mobile apps, mobile apps for your custom apps. So be sure to check out and register for that webinar coming up. We also have Chuck. Do you want to come off mute just a second, Chuck? I'll give you talking permission, and then you can plug your tech now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Chuck.
Let me get near my microphone. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great content today. And just wanted to give a quick plug for the Tech Now coming up on February 3rd on the San Diego platform features. This is the early availability date as well. So it aligns nicely. I'm going to have like a Steve Jobs moment where you can go out to the store and get this right now. I got to imagine big, or dream big, as Bill McDermott says. The link is in the chat, but if you just want the short link, it's easy to remember. It's devlink.sn, as in ServiceNow, /TN, TechNow 93. This is episode 93, REG for the registration page. So devlink.sn /TN93 REG will get you to the registration page. If you can't remember anything else, you go to devlink.sn /technow. It's the index of all the episodes, and the registration link will be on that episode. So look forward to joining everybody. Lots of great information coming up in the early availability, including a peek at what we couldn't show you here today for some of the changes. And I'm bursting at the seams.
Yeah, as are all of us. This is, I think, one of the bigger efforts that we've had in the past couple of years, bringing this new experience to all of you. So we're all very excited to get this out to everybody. Thank you so much, Chuck. I'm very much looking forward to that Tech Now episode, and I think everybody is. Let me see what happened to the poll. Yes, perfect. We have a lot of answers. Thank you all very much for attending today. That's about all I had. Everybody say bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers. Thank you all so very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.